Remember when the Steam Deck came out and almost everybody agreed Valve had done something special? A handheld PC that somehow felt affordable. That actually worked and managed to bridge the gap between console players and PC gamers. For once, Valve took an insanely complicated hobby and made it simple, and that's exactly why this new Steam Machine announcement feels so confusing, because Valve just revealed the pricing, and the reaction across the internet has basically been, wait, they want how much? We're talking over $1,000 for the base model, not even a premium version or a collector's edition. It doesn't even include a controller, but that's the entry point. I'm not saying the hardware is bad. Actually, that's what makes the situation so fascinating. The Steam Machine might be a genuinely impressive piece of hardware. It might be quiet, semi-powerful. It might be one of the best living room gaming PCs ever built. And yet it still feels like a product that could be dead on arrival. Not because it's terrible, but because Valve may have completely misunderstood what made the Steam Deck successful in the first place. So the Steam Machine starts around $1,049 and climbs significantly higher depending on storage and configuration. That's not just expensive, that's extremely expensive, especially when you look at what it's competing against. Valve isn't launching this thing into an empty market, they're launching it into the most competitive gaming hardware market we've ever seen. A PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X cost dramatically less. Even Valve's own base Steam Deck model cost dramatically less, or at least at launch it did. So immediately the question becomes, who exactly is this for? Because console gamers won't buy it, the average family isn't going to buy it, and casual players definitely aren't going to buy it. So who's left? PC enthusiasts? Maybe, but PC enthusiasts already own gaming PCs. The more I think about the Steam Machine, the more it feels like a product suffering from a massive identity crisis. It's trying to be a console, but it's priced like a premium gaming PC. It's trying to be a gaming PC, but it's locked into a console-like form factor. It's trying to appeal to Steam Deck owners, but it costs nearly double or triple the price. It's trying to appeal to console gamers, but it lacks the affordability that consoles rely on. So who is this machine actually targeting? That's the question I keep coming back to, because successful hardware usually has a very clear audience. The Switch was obvious, so was the Wii and the Steam Deck. But the Steam Machine, I'm struggling to understand. Now, to be fair to Valve, they've explained why the machine costs so much. Their argument is actually pretty reasonable. Valve says they refuse to subsidize hardware the way Sony and Microsoft do, instead of selling the hardware at a loss and making money later through subscriptions and closed ecosystems. Valve wants the Steam Machine to reflect the real cost of the hardware. And to be honest, I respect that. From a philosophical standpoint, Valve is probably right. Open platforms are healthier, consumer choice and competition are good, but philosophy doesn't sell hardware. Value sells hardware. And consumers don't buy products because they respect your business model. They buy products because they think they're getting a good deal. That's the reality of it. And right now, the Steam Machine has a massive reception problem. The biggest enemy of the Steam Machine might actually be Valve itself, because every conversation about this device inevitably leads back to the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck became a phenomenon because it felt accessible. People looked at it and thought, yeah, I can justify that. The Steam Machine doesn't create that reaction. It creates sticker shock, because once people experience sticker shock, you've already lost the battle. Instead of talking about features, games or performance, people talk about the price. That's exactly what's happening right now. Now let's talk hardware, because the specs aren't so bad. Valve claims the system delivers around 6 times the horsepower of a Steam Deck. The machine uses a custom AMD Zen 4 CPU and a RDNA 3 graphics architecture in a compact form factor. That's pretty impressive stuff, especially when you consider the size, but the issue is, people don't buy specs or outcomes, and the outcomes need to justify the price. If someone spends over $1,000, they expect something transformational, not incremental or just pretty good, but transformational. And I'm not convinced the Steam Machine creates that feeling. The timing couldn't have been worse. Sony and Microsoft are offering incredible value right now, for hundreds less. Think about it, a PlayStation 5 gives you access to a massive ecosystem, big exclusives, a simple setup, no troubleshooting or compatibility concerns, and it costs substantially less. For mainstream gamers, that's an incredibly easy decision. Why spend over $1,000 trying to imitate the console experience when you can just buy the console experience? Because if console gamers aren't interested, then Valve needs PC gamers. But PC gamers are famously value conscious. Many of them immediately start doing the math. Could I build something better myself? Maybe buy a pre-built? Or just buy a gaming laptop? The moment people start asking those questions, you're in trouble, because suddenly the Steam Machine isn't competing with consoles anymore, it's competing with the entire PC market, and that's a brutal fight. What's funny is that we've actually been here before. People forget that Steam machines already existed. Valve tried this concept years ago and it didn't work. The original vision sounded great: bring PC gaming into the living room, create a console-like experience, make Steam the center of your entertainment setup, but consumers largely ignored it. Why? Because the value proposition wasn't clear, and that's exactly the danger here as well. History has a habit of repeating itself. Valve has also pointed to rising hardware costs and AI-driven component shortages as a major reason prices ended up this high. RAM, storage, and other key components have become more expensive because of demand from AI infrastructure. And that's probably true, but do the consumers care? Not really. Consumers don't buy explanations, we buy products. You can explain all day why something costs more. At the end of the day, people only ask one question: is it worth it? And that's where Valve faces its biggest challenge. The more I analyze this machine, the more I think it targets an incredibly small audience. Not console, casual, or hardcore PC gamers, not even Steam Deck owners. Instead, it targets a tiny overlap between all of them. People who love Steam, want a living room setup, don't already own a gaming PC, don't want a console, have over $1,000 to spend. That's a niche inside a niche, and niche hardware can succeed, but it usually doesn't become mainstream. Valve is already using a reservation and queue system due to limited supply. Reservations close this week and shipping is expected to begin shortly after. Now, limited supply isn't automatically bad, but it does create a weird launch environment, because if the machine sells out, Valve can claim success, but selling out doesn't necessarily mean demand is massive. It could simply mean supply is tiny, and those are two very different things. Now, here's a thought: what if the Steam machine becomes the VR headset of gaming PCs? Not in functionality, but in market position. Everybody respects it, everybody thinks it's cool and agrees it's technically impressive, but almost nobody actually buys one. That's the outcome I keep coming back to, because admiration and adoption are not the same thing. I don't think the Steam machine is doomed forever. I think it's doomed at this price. That's an important distinction, because the Steam Deck proved that Valve understands hardware. The software ecosystem is strong, SteamOS is excellent, and the technology is real. The issue is pricing. If hardware costs eventually come down, if Valve releases a cheaper revision, or if manufacturing becomes easier, everything changes. Suddenly this becomes much more attractive. The Steam machine might end up being one of the best gaming devices that most people never buy, and that's the tragedy, because there are genuinely good ideas here. SteamOS, living room PC gaming, compact hardware, open ecosystem. All of that sounds fantastic, but price matters. Price has always mattered. And when you're asking people to spend over $1,000 on a gaming machine that sits awkwardly between a console and a PC, you're creating a massive uphill battle. Maybe Valve proves everyone wrong. Maybe demand explodes. Maybe this becomes the next Steam Deck. But sitting here today, looking at the price, the competition and the target audience, I can't shake the feeling that Valve has created a product that a lot of people will admire, but very few people will actually buy. And that is why the Steam machine could be dead on arrival.